Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, the weather is a little on the wet side today. We had some moderate thunderstorms overnight. A pretty decent amount of rain come down. We've got a pause in it right now, but there's more expected here shortly coming through with chance of rain throughout the day and over the next several days. Not really complaining. So far, it's been a fairly wet year. In the growing considerations, that's a good thing. Around here, I've spoken to many of the farmers, and they're very frustrated when it comes to actually harvesting their hay. It's been difficult in that respect. But, got to complain about something when it comes to the weather. In just some news things that's happening. Overnight at 2 something in the morning, the president posted on social media that dealing with Xi Jinping is so difficult. He's just impossible to deal with. This comes on the heels of a few reports about the potential trade negotiations with China over the tariffs and stuff. That doesn't seem to be going very well. The U.S. government has said that the negotiations have completely fallen through. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, said that Xi Jinping and China is not afraid of U.S. tariffs, so that's not going to work. That doesn't scare them. They believe that they're holding the cards and that they have the upper hand in this. And I know, depending on who you listen to and what you believe, there is some indication that that's the case, especially when you look at trade. We depend way more on their, trade from them than they do from us. The question is have we opened just a can of worms? I mean, is this going to end up being a good thing in the end? Or have we just pushed the end, results of a potential bigger scale war closer? I don't know. But the fact that the president, if he did, and all indication looks like it, if he was the one that posted that at 2:15 or something this morning, the fact that it was done in the middle of the night indicates that maybe things are even worse than what he's saying in the post, or whatever you would call it. Iran has rejected the nuclear deal with the United States. They've said that the United States has no business telling them what to do. And to counter that, they have actually called for a regional nuclear symposium inviting Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, all of these countries in the Middle East to come to them, and they would be willing to work out a deal where they sell their technology or sell the actual nuclear materials to some of their neighboring countries. So they're fighting back now. I can't remember the exact date, but I believe that we're somewhere between 9 and 10 days away from that date that the president gave, that they had to come up with a deal by this date or they would take more violent measures. And of course, we still haven't heard from Israel. Are they waiting until that date? Has there been some agreement between the United States and Israel that, okay, we'll hold off till then? Or will this announcement that Iran has rejected the deal, is that going to cause Israel to react? I think it's becoming more and more likely. Not guaranteed yet, but very likely that we're going to see a more violent confrontation when, regards to Iran, whether it's just Israel or it's us and Israel. So that's happening. Also, there's more fallout between Elon Musk and basically the whole Trump administration. He has went on some rants online yesterday, really criticizing the big, beautiful bill. There's been a whole lot more come out about it. There's been more Republican congressmen that actually voted for this coming out and saying, wait a minute, we didn't know all this stuff was in here. And if we'd known that, we wouldn't have voted for it. Like that is some kind of excuse. My response is, well, don't vote for something you don't know what's in it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But it doesn't look like that the relationship is as strong as it once was. And so that will be interesting to see if that has any effect on future things, because Elon Musk was such a powerful like it or not, big part of this administration for many months now, even before it was the administration, when he was running for office. And it looks like that in just a few short months, very possible that the relationship, maybe not specifically with Donald Trump, but with his people. Wanted to shift gears back on the AI thing. I know some of you enjoy it. Some of you are getting tired of it. But I believe that it is extremely important. Before I say what I'm going to say, I'm going to encourage you to go watch someone else's video today. I don't follow him very often. In fact, it's been at least 6 months, I would say, since I've watched any content from Beck. In fact, I didn't even realize the guy had lost a bunch of weight. But I did watch a video because I'd heard and seen some posts that he seems to also be out there speaking out against the dangers of all of this push of technology. In fact, as far as I can tell, he may be the biggest voice right now speaking out against it. Everyone else that is talking out is small fry like myself. I've not really seen anyone saying, hey, whoa, this is dangerous. All this push, this is dangerous. So I'll leave a link down in the comment section. It's only about a 10-minute or so, 10, 15-minute video. And I could just regurgitate everything he says in it, but just go watch it, whether you like him or not. I'm not saying the guy is 100%, trustworthy or anything like that, but he does say some really good things, make some good comments. And, he's talking about how dangerous, all this is in many ways, but one of the ways is that to make this happen, the estimates that over the next 3 to 5 years that the United States alone, not the world, the United States will have to have the equivalent, of 90 new nuclear power plants, 90 to power all of this technology. I've been telling you, it is a major power consumption. Also water. It takes water for the cooling. These systems put out an immense amount of heat, so they use water to cool it. And so the question is starting to rise is, where are we going to get all these resources? How much are we going to have to cut back on resources you and I have access to fund this? Is this possibly why we've, been seeing all this climate change garbage of, oh, you need to cut back? Is it really so that you cut back and they divert all the resources to all of this systems? I don't know. But it's crazy. He also mentions in there that the counter argument in favor of this rapid expansion and rapid push is that our adversaries are doing the same thing. And because AI and all of this tech is expanding so rapidly, in fact, depending on the parameter that you look at, in some ways, AI right now is expanding in size, capacity, speed, and stuff. It's doubling about every 6 months, depending on the parameters that you're looking at. And so if you look at it from that way, let's say China is doing the same thing, and let's say they're just 6 months ahead of us in their development. That's significant, because if it's doubling every 6 months, that means they're twice as fast, twice as capable when it comes to the technology. And so that's why that there is this desperate, immediate, emergency, push all of this stuff. And right now, like I said, there's not really any opposition to it. It's not a left versus right or vice versa thing. The only real argument amongst the political parties and sides is maybe how to implement some of this stuff. But both of them want this technology pushed very, very desperately. And so it is coming at us whether you like it or not. And like what you have done all this time of preparing, you're preparing for famines, and you're preparing for supply chain disruptions and wars and disease, all of this stuff. You need to be preparing for this, and it's going to take a different way. Before I say anything more, there's a scripture that I want to read to you, and it fits with all of this. It's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 11 and 12, and this goes back to the delusion, the deception that I've been talking about, which is what all of this really is. It's all a big deception. It says, for this reason, God sends them a strong delusion so that they will believe the lie, so that all will be damned who do not believe the truth, but delighted in unrighteousness. In preparing for this, and in that video that I mentioned of Glenn Beck, he says just unplug it. And what he's referring to, the former CEO of Google made a statement that, you know, if AI gets to a certain level, the only real way to deal with it, to stop it, is to just unplug it. But that's a problem, because it's not like it's your home computer sitting there, you know, and you just walk over to the outlet and go pull it out. AI's everywhere. AI's everywhere. It may be controlling the entire water system for your town. It may be controlling defense systems. It may be controlling an entire prison system. And if you unplug it, it all goes down. You know, it's interesting how Hollywood does this. If you go and you look at, for instance, movies like The Matrix, that was the dilemma of them. And so that's why, if you remember in The Matrix, you know, the humans, they darkened the sun so that it would potentially take the power supply away from the AI. But unplugging it for you and I is not as simple as just pulling a plug out of the wall. And that's what I want to talk to you briefly, because I'm seeing that in the comments. I've had some of you send me emails of what do we do? And do we just completely disconnect? I believe that your end plan needs to be that your plan needs to be, at some point, you just need to disconnect. But it's not as easy as you think. And I think because the average American is not fully aware of how integrated these systems are. They're so benign for the most part. Most people just don't realize how much all of this is integrated in our daily life. So it's going to be more than just saying, okay, I'm going to take my smartphone and burn it, or throw it in the trash, or destroy it. I'm going to unplug the computer. I'm going to, unplug the Wi-Fi router. It's more than just that, because it's everywhere. I mean, it's in your smart meter at your house that's calculating how much electricity that you use. Have you noticed how nearly every modern appliance, if you go and buy it, is some way connected to the internet? I mean, it seems absurd that your refrigerator and your toaster oven and your lights to your house, the lock on your front door, all of that and more is all connected to the internet. So all of those things are sending out data, but it's even more than what's just in your house. Even if it's not directly in your life, it is in your life. It is, like I said, controlling the power grid that sends electricity to your house. It's controlling, very possibly, the water systems. It's possibly controlling the sewage systems. It's possibly controlling the natural gas systems. It's controlling the communication systems. It's very likely and is controlling supply chains and education systems and law enforcement. It's everywhere, folks. It is everywhere. And so, to fully disconnect from all of this so that you're not caught up in it, so that it's not tracking you, so that it's not collecting your data and influencing your life, as much as some of you disagree, like I've been saying for years, you need to have end contingency plan to completely disconnect from all of it, which means to disconnect from society. There's no good solution to that, because I know what you're saying. Well, even if I buy a piece of land and it's remote and it's off grid and I grow all my own food, I produce all the things that I need, and even if I went to the extreme and I never left my property, at the very least, I still have to pay property taxes, right? Exactly, you do. And so there's no perfect solution. There are some possible solutions that are better. Some states now have passed gold and silver bills, so you might be able to pay those property taxes that way. Um, in the end, you're going to have to. I mean, unless you just bounce around from place to place, but even then you're moving around. There's no good solution. You know, you could say, well, I'll live in the national forest and move every 2 weeks, because you can do that in most places. Here in Missouri, you can live in the national forest in a camper for free for up to 2 weeks at a time, as long as you move to a different place, you know, for another 2 weeks. And there are people that do that. But, you know, you got to register your vehicle. You got to have the money to buy gasoline. There is no good solution. And that's the whole point to why this system is being built and why it's been done that way. And now how it is becoming a part of many Americans' daily lives through these little chat bots, where it's helping them figure things out. It's, you know, offering all of these solutions. You know, you can find out medical problems. You can find out legal problems. You can work on relationship problems. They're being used as personal therapists. People are finding out that it's more helpful in some ways to talk to the little chat bot than to go to a therapist. All of this is happening. And it's very benign, and it looks helpful. And everyone's like, well, you know, if it just stays this way, it could actually be really good for us. Well, it doesn't. It's not. And it's embedding in our lives and our society so much so that it's becoming nearly impossible to disconnect from it. So there is no good solution, but I think the best solution that you can come up with is to do the most that you can. It is happening fast, and I mean very fast. And while, like I said yesterday, we may not reach that singularity point within the next 6 to 12 months, I think it's very likely that we could reach a point where AI is at the level that it could be considered self-aware, and that it could be in a greater control in our society within 6 to 12 months. We are not that far away from a very critical tipping point. Nothing's stopping it. No one's trying, and there's nothing that you can do. And for the most part, most people cannot completely 100% disconnect from it. And so it sounds very depressing. It sounds like that there's no solutions, and that's not true. Number one, our biggest solution is to have faith in Yeshua, the Messiah, that he will protect us. We have to turn our lives over to him, okay? We have to trust that the Holy Spirit will guide us. We need to pray for discernment. But then we have to be proactive. We have to be proactive and become as self-sufficient as possible, and have plans in place of what can I do to disconnect from all these things. And it may be to the extreme point of disconnecting from all technology. Not just AI-connected technology, but all technology. Because in the end, all technology, whether it's connected to the systems or not, is becoming, it's a tether. It's a tether to society. Even your grid, you know, off-grid solar systems and your, you know, little solar generator packs and all that kind of stuff. In some ways, you're still connected, for the fact that you might have to have repairs, you have to purchase items, there's maintenance on that. Whereas, you know, if you lived completely disconnected and completely off of the grid, not just the electrical grid, but all of it, and you do it well, especially if you have others around you, then you have a better chance of just being completely isolated. We have to start thinking about these. And I know that some of this stuff sounds quite extreme. And some of you are sitting there thinking, there's no way I can do this. I'm done. I'm cooked. I don't think that that's the case if you're willing. I think it is possible. But yes, we do have to start having some extreme conversations, extreme thoughts on how to avoid all of this, because it is happening so fast that you're going to wake up one day pretty soon. I would be shocked if it's 18 months away. You're going to wake up one day soon and going to realize that it's completely built the prison around you. And if you don't have a way out that you are developing now, you'll be captured by it. And this is not a good thing, folks. Don't be deceived by this stuff. Don't be deceived by the people that's pushing this stuff, no matter how good and on your side they appear. It's moving quickly, folks. It's not just me saying this. There are a lot of much smarter folks than I am warning about the dangers of what's happening. It's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.